Having low self-esteem is like driving through life with the handbrake on. That's a quote from Maxwell Maltz, and I think it fits so perfectly to people who have low self-esteem with acne. The definition of self-esteem is the belief and confidence in your ability and your value as a human being. And for people who have acne or have gone through it in the past, it goes hand in hand with having low self-esteem. I know this because at one point I had extremely severe cystic acne, and it just drove my self-esteem lower and lower and lower until I was at the lowest point where I really didn't feel like there was any way out, but there is. So being somebody who has gone through it, who has had the acne, had the low self-esteem, and then came out the other side with a much better view on myself and life, I want to give you 10 tips that can really help you to start building your self-esteem so that you never have low self-esteem again. Okay, but first, I want to do a little bit of an exercise. When it comes to defining whether or not you do have low self-esteem, there are a couple attributes that people with low self-esteem have. So listen to this and kind of mentally cue off, does this apply to you or not? Okay, number one, you need validation from other people. Okay, sound like you? Number two, you feel inferior to other people. Number three, you always put other people before yourself. So for example, you're willing to help other people even if you have important things to do. Maybe you're doing something really important this weekend, but then you're willing to do something for someone else that's really small that they could probably figure out on their own. Number four, you beat yourself up for small mistakes that you made. Number five, you overthink what other people say to you, or you overthink what you say to other people. That's probably almost everybody watching this video. Number six, you settle for less than you deserve. So maybe you have a job that you hate, or a person, a friend in your life, or just somebody you have to interact with constantly, and you settle for it instead of improving the situation because somewhere in you feel like you deserve it. And number seven, you don't know how to take a compliment. So someone says you look great, or they can really see the progress you've made in the gym, and you immediately discount what they just complimented you on. So out of those 7 things, how many of them applied to you? If all of them, then you definitely have low self-esteem. And if some of them, then you might just have some self-esteem things that you could improve on. So now let's go into the actual tips. These are 10 things that I think are really going to help you. Oh, I should probably mention that about half of these are tips that I came up with that have helped me personally, and the other half are tips that I found on the internet from people who have acne talking about what's helped them. And all of this is geared towards people who have acne, even though they could probably apply to just about anybody. Okay, so the first one is set a time limit on how long you're allowed to stare at yourself in the mirror, right? So it makes sense to look at your face initially for a minute or so, see if, whatever changes you're making in your life or whatever products you're using on your face are actually improving your acne or not. That all makes sense. But the over obsession of staring at yourself in the mirror for 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, and you're staring at yourself for 30 minutes, you're picking at your face, none of that's doing anything good for you. In your mind, you're just reinforcing this negative feedback loop of looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, oh my gosh, it looks terrible. And then sitting there and staring even closer. That's not gonna do anything good for you. So set a reasonable limit. Maybe it's 2 minutes, maybe it's 5 minutes. Okay, this is a cool one. Number 2 is look at your skin as if it's someone else's skin that you're looking at. So think about this. When you are talking to your friends every single day at school or work, or you run into whoever, right? You're getting food from the cash register, whatever. When you look at that other person, how detailed are you analyzing every single centimeter of their face and every blemish, and how much are you truly thinking about their skin? Probably not that much. Maybe you generally notice something about it, but you're not sitting there over obsessing about it. And if you start to look at your own skin in that same way, you'll realize how other people are looking at your skin. They're not over analyzing and microscopically, zooming in on your face. Okay, now this one, number 3, I've said so many times, stop looking at your face from 2 inches away from the mirror. Nobody in your life is going to get that close to your face unless you're romantically involved with them, in which case they've probably already fallen in love with you yourself instead of your skin. But we all do this. We all get as close as we can to the mirror. And obviously, when you're closer, you can see a lot more. And because things are closer, they look much bigger than they really are. If you're looking at a blackhead from 1 inch away, that blackhead, you can see all the details of it. But if you back up 3 or 4 feet, you barely can see, you probably can't even notice a blackhead. So stop looking so close. Number 4, this is a pretty cool one that I read. I focus on how my skin is feeling instead of how my skin is looking. So instead of over obsessing about, the acne scars that you have, rolling scars or ice pick scars or whatever it is, instead focus on, is your face feeling hydrated? Does your face feel healthy? Do you feel like over the past week or 2 weeks or month that you've used this new product, whatever it is, that your face has improved in the way it feels maybe to your hand, or just the way it feels just on your face throughout the day? That can change the way that you think about your skin. Instead of just being one barometer that you are basically evaluating or grading your skin on, you have a bunch of other very important things that you are basically checking in on, because you do want your skin to feel good. Number 5, it's gonna sound a little dumb, but pretend that you don't have it. See, I know it sounds dumb, but think about it this way. Pretend that you don't have it and just go about your life as if you do not have acne, because you're gonna run into one of two people. You're either gonna run into a person who cares, or you're gonna run into somebody who doesn't care. And the people who don't care will see you for who you really are. But if you just assume that everybody cares and everybody's going to shut you down and reject you and treat you negatively, then even the people who are able to look past skin, people who are actually able to find out who you are and become friends with you or become attracted to you for the reasons that really matter as humans, all of those people you're going to shut off, because you're just going to say 100% of people all judge me and I don't want to talk to anybody, just on the slight chance that one of them is very negative to me. So easier than said than done, but try going about life as if you don't have acne and see how it changes things. Okay, so now the next 5 tips that you're going to get are the ones that I've actually come up with. So number 6 is get out of your day-to-day habit by taking a trip of some sort. So a lot of times the reason that we get so caught up in our head and get stuck on these what I call white noise or static thoughts that are just like very low frequency, and it's like, what does this person think about me? Ooh, that person looked at me in a weird way today, or someone called me ugly on the internet, and you get it all stuck in your head. But really, when you get out of the situations that you're encountering these bad feelings, whether it's from people making fun of you or things that you think about yourself when you have to go in front of everybody at work or something like that, whatever it is, when you get out of those day-to-day situations, you allow your brain to relax all that tension. And then, in my opinion, I feel like you're able to work on yourself more. You're able to start the process of healing. But when you're going through the day-to-day minutia of what you do every single day, you're not able to ever just basically turn your brain off. So whether that's, going on a vacation, like a real planned nice one on a cruise, or even just getting in your car and driving, doing a little road trip for the weekend, or going out to a cabin, or whatever it is, just get out of the situation that you're constantly in. Okay, number 7, and this probably could have even been number 1, because this one is hugely important. Read books that will change your mindset. That is such a powerful tool. It's basically like going to school that actually matters, right? It's going to a class that you actually signed up for because you cared about it. So a book that I really suggest is The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I think that one is massively important for changing how you address what's going on in your life and what you want to achieve in your life, and then having your brain actually help you with it instead of fight you. A really powerful book. And then other books, like You Are a Badass, things like that, where they really address confidence, self-esteem, and just ways that you can talk to yourself in a different way that will help you to grow more with better confidence and better self-esteem. Those kinds of things are so important because they open up your mind to new ideas and new thoughts that maybe you haven't really fleshed out yourself. So you can get this massive benefit from somebody who has done that work. All right, number 8, do a social media audit. So for a whole week, right? Every time you open social media, your whole point is that whenever you're scrolling through and looking at the updates, anytime you encounter a post or a person that brings up any negative feelings in you, for whatever reason, unfollow that person. So maybe that's, maybe that's big fashion brands or big skincare brands or whatever, where people's skin is completely perfect porcelain. Or maybe it's, Instagram models or something like that. People who are editing their photos and making sure that there's no blemishes in their face, or whatever it is. If it makes you feel bad, get it out of your life. Do it. And then you'll have this feed that's much better. Obviously you could just leave social media entirely, but pretty much nobody can actually do that. So doing a social media audit is probably the next best thing. Number 9 is increasing your comfort zone with very small steps. So start a second Instagram that no one has any clue that you have, no one has any connection or anything like that to you. Just start an Instagram and start posting pictures of your acne. Whether that be, zoomed in photos of your acne where they can't identify you, or if you are willing to, just post pictures of yourself. Just a selfie, your face, you're out at the lake or something like that. You just post a selfie, but do not edit your photos at all. Now, maybe nobody will follow you. Maybe you only get 1 or 2 likes ever. That's okay. It's more so about being comfortable with going through the motion, really, of going taking a picture, pressing post, not worrying, not freaking out about having to Facetune your photo or highlight all of the acne out or any of that kind of stuff. It just gets you into this mode where you're like, you know what? I'm valuable the way I am. I'm totally valid for posting a photo of myself, enjoying myself without having to hyper focus on whether or not my acne is looking good, whether I was in good lighting for my scarring or any of that kind of stuff. Okay, number 10 is choose one friend that you are close with that you can share your dark feelings with. If you don't have a friend that's close like that, or you just don't feel comfortable sharing with maybe your best friend, find someone online that can work if you go to like communities that are similar to what you are interested in, or if you go to acne communities, or you can start something called a dark journal. Basically, what your point is with this one is to get all of those negative feelings that you really try to be strong and not show people, get them out of your system instead of bottling them up, which can cause you to have even more negative feelings about yourself and feel even more like you don't have value. You get it out on the table, and one, it just feels good to get it off your chest, but two, the person you talk with is going to treat you the way that you really should treat yourself. They're going to treat you with compassion, and that's going to help you work through these things and put them in a new perspective where you may be overthinking this thing, and they might say, hey, that's a thing that you should be concerned with. You know, it makes sense, but you're blowing it up and you're making it way bigger of a problem than it really is. Having really severe acne is something that I think most people that have never dealt with it before do not and cannot really understand what kind of a toll it puts on you as a human, and really how long those effects can stay with you and can keep your self-esteem low even after you've cleared your acne. And so to me, it's, I think, almost as important as being able to help people figure out how to clear their faces is just how to love themselves from the inside, regardless of the acne or not. So I think changing the conversation from self-esteem to self-compassion and trying to treat yourself the way that you would treat your best friend if they were telling you what they're struggling with. If you can do that to yourself, I think you're going to be better off, and you're going to be able to grow out of the low self-esteem area that you're in a lot better. Either way, like I said, I had really low self-esteem, and I have gone through everything with acne. And I just know that, you know, my purpose on this earth, one of them is to help people who have acne, and being able to help people love themselves more, which is something that I've been able to do for so many years now. It's something that gives me so much joy. And so I'm hoping that maybe these 10 tips can really help you. If not these tips, then some of my other videos that I've put up here on the channel. So if you have anything you would like to add to the comments below to help other people with their self-esteem and acne, please do that. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And as always, if you are trying to find the best skincare brand on the market, you should check out my favorite one. It's called Banish. You can use the discount code. It's Brian5 for $5 off orders of $35 or more. And I think that's it. Remember that you are not alone. You are beautiful, and you are a part of Team Acne. See you guys in the next video.